Will training your speaking voice or trying to level up in your ability to use tonality for your benefit actually just backfire and end up leaving you sounding inauthentic, more monotone and robotic than before? Let's dig in. I'm Michael Hewitt, professional opera singer, former enterprise cybersecurity salesperson. I narrated Bowtied Sales Guys, Chad's salesman course, and contributed the bonus section on tonality. And now I am an executive vocal coach in New York City. I work with entrepreneurs, executives, and leaders in their organizations to unlock their most powerful, most commanding voice and bring their authentic selves to professional situations without losing any relevance. There's two things that you need to know about human communication. Number one is that our voice is our primary tool of communication. The second thing that you need to know that makes that a lot more interesting is that the majority of communication is actually nonverbal. And within that idea of nonverbal, it's not necessarily the words that you say, but how you say them that matters. This is what most people refer to as tonality. There's a couple of sales gurus in particular, Jordan Belfort and Jeremy Miner, who talk about the power of tonality. And if you're a real nerd like me, then you can go all the way back and see one of the OGs, Zig Ziglar, talking about the power of tonality and the voice in his book, Secrets of Closing the Sale. So the answer to this question, isn't training my voice just going to make me sound inauthentic? The answer to this question is no, at least the way that I train the people who come to work with me on it, because I teach from a very fundamental principle, and that is this. All that we are doing when we are working on finding and unleashing a voice, we are unlearning what's unnatural. Here's what I mean. Everything that we are in our present states is basically a reaction to the sum total of every experience that we've ever had over the course of our lifetimes. So if you've ever dug into psychology at all or gone to therapy yourself, you should have, then one of the first things you're going to understand or come to realize is that everything that happened in your childhood has a major, major, major influence on how you are right now. So for example, the way that this affects the voice would be somebody says, hey, you're too loud, you're stupid, shut up, nobody wants to hear you talk, you sound like an idiot when you speak, you mumble, you this, you that. And what happens is two things. One, we take these experiences and we turn them into stories inside of our brain and in our minds and souls and beings. And then we carry this belief with us into our lives. Like, I am stupid, I don't have anything to say, nobody wants to hear me talk, I'm too loud, etc., etc. And then there is a physical manifestation of this story. What this could look like is you suddenly get really quiet and you have no idea how to access your actual natural, powerful voice. Or you just kind of start to mumble and you don't really speak clearly because you don't believe that you have anything to say. Or you adopt some other weird habits or patterns that are not your fault. Maybe you start talking on vocal fry, and vocal fry is just the oral representation of apathy and timidity. You want to let people know that you're too cool, that you don't really care, but the reality is you care deeply. So when I say we have to unlearn what's unnatural, the most powerful example of this, and this actually comes from the world of professional opera singing, where I spent all of my 20s training and performing at the highest levels. Oh, you wanted a demonstration because you don't believe me? Señor, señor. All right, that's enough. And that's this. Picture a baby's cry. A baby's cry is such a magnificent teacher because you can hear it through the walls, across, no matter how big of a house you're in, all the way across the house. The baby can do it for hours and hours and hours, day after day. And I'm not a parent, yet parents will say that they are able to distinguish between different types of cries. This cry means my pants are full of poop. This cry means I'm hungry. This cry means I'm uncomfortable. Besides what this tells us about the human being's ability to use their voice naturally, that it is loud, it's expressive, it's nuanced, and it can be used essentially to infinity without any damage, it also tells us something about what's behind that voice use, and that is I can't remember being a baby, but let's get inside the mind of a baby. The baby has no shame in asking for what it wants. The baby has very high stakes related to getting what it wants. The baby is demonstrating to an exemplary degree a couple of the major skills of one of the frameworks that I teach called the 7 skills of tonality. The use of resonance, mindset, of subtext, and of stakes. So unlearning what's unnatural can start from either one of these two places. We can get you to experience what that uninhibited, free, authentic use of your voice, literally and figuratively, would be like if we can get you to experience it in terms of your production. But then we also get you to experience what it's like in terms of, hey, what would it be like to not have any shame around communicating, to raise the stakes, to get really clear on what your subtext is in this conversation. But underneath that, all that I'm really asking you to do is just to get clear on what you really want and why you really want it. There is nothing more natural than that. And when you train yourself in thinking in this way, and you train yourself in the natural use of your voice, which we have all at some point or another to varying degrees lost touch with, then you have mastered tonality. If you want to dive a little bit deeper into the 7 skills of tonality to see how they work individually and how they complement and build on one another all together, there's a video at the link tree in my bio called The 7 Skills of Tonality. I would highly encourage you to go and watch it and check it out. And if you want to come and work with me to find and unleash your voice, literally and figuratively, that's what I do all day, every day. Done it with over 215 clients. Love to dig in with you. You can grab a 15-minute voice consultation where you just tell me what's going on and I'll tell you exactly what to do. And then we part ways from there and all you got to do is just do it. Or if you want to go broad and deep and really dig in, then book a voice and tonality assessment with me and let's really see what's going on and we will construct a custom plan for you based on where you're at. All right, y'all. Got to get out of here. Go to sleep. It's late. Go forth and speak boldly.